Hi, I'm Tania Ganguli, Lakers beat writer for the LA Times, here with my two friends and colleagues, Brad Turner, who also covers the Lakers with me, and Dan Wokie, who covers the NBA for us. We're all here in Florida in different phases of being in the NBA bubble world. Woike is inside the bubble, free to roam, somewhat. BT is slightly outside the bubble, also free to roam, and I am in quarantine trying to get out in time for the Lakers' first game, their first finals game in 10 years. What did you guys think of Media Day today?
For me, it was the White House kid. Thanks for taking that picture. That little kid was so cute and could care less that daddy is in the NBA finals. He play. He was
He
playing
might,
and jumping around. So, I mean, just to see a little kid and enjoy their faces, and it brought joy from the White House. Tanya, how about that?
Yeah, he's been seemed pretty down a lot of the time, but having his kid here, I'm sure has been helping.
I think a kind of it's funny along those lines. Like to me, one of the big questions in all of this is like how NBA Finals is this going to feel? Like media day at the NBA Finals is generally like a pretty dreadful day, right? You have an on-court practice in the main arena and just a crush of people, all shoulder to shoulder, trying to ask questions and get footage and stuff like that. And like this was obviously like so many of these things in NBA Media Day that's never happened before, right? Where you're doing it via Zoom and you're watching, PR people lead people station to station kind of through the back hallways of the arena that they're playing in. And I'll say this, though. I think the sense that I got from players is like everybody seemed pretty excited. People were pretty happy to talk. People were pretty excited about what was ahead of them. And I think not only is it just the sort of the light at the end of the tunnel for leaving the bubble once the series ends, but I think guys feel like the stage is bigger, right? Like it does feel, at least to them, like we're at the NBA Finals and this is going to be pretty special what happens over the next 2 weeks.
I definitely think there is something to I've talked to a couple people who've been like, woof, almost at the end now.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
something to that. But I do, there is also this joy that they have gotten to this point. We all saw Anthony Davis after they clinched the finals berth. He wouldn't let go of that trophy, and he was just walking around with it because it was so special to him to make it to the finals. Um,
They had a late night. They had a late night celebrating that too. By the way, we had a good across the lake view of that Lakers celebration that went till I think like 4:30 in the morning. Um, yeah, it was. They had a nice little party to celebrate that for sure.
yeah. And they talked about, like we all knew that they were going to do that. They talked about having to turn the page pretty quickly. They got a little more time than the Heat did, though. The Heat only had that one night to celebrate before they really had to put their finals hats back on and get right back into it. What did you guys think of some of the ideas coming out of the Heat portion of this day?
I enjoyed their joy for the game, their love, knowing that, yes, as Butler says, we're underdogs, but we don't feel that way. We think we belong here. And that comes from the top, from Pat Riley, that if you guys are in the finals, you deserve to be here, you belong here, and you have a chance to win. So just hearing them talk about stuff like that made me think, I think they're going to give the Lakers a run, and in the end, the Lakers will win the series, but they'll be fun to watch because they are a very tough team.
Well, I think kind of along those lines too, in terms of how Miami ended up in this position, right? I view them as much as any organization. Maybe the Spurs is the only one where that's the straightest line when you go from like owner, president, general manager, coach. It is like everybody's in lockstep. Stars, they all feed into the same formula, right? Like we're going to hear the word culture a lot. If the Heat somehow win, you are going to hear it more than you hear any other word when they talk about this basketball team. Heat culture, and it's cliche, but it also, I think, it's pretty evident. You see these guys that are so dependent and driven by winning and winning habits and things like that. And I think it came across in the way they talked today. It came across in the way Eric Spoelstra kind of talked about his journey. You heard it the other night when Jimmy Butler talked about why he wanted to be in Miami. And I think you heard it in LeBron James when he talked about Miami and what Miami was meant to him.
LeBron really talked about the idea that he that, you know, he talked about how young he was when he got there, which I thought was very charming, and an important reminder. I mean, I was reading today about some of the things that people were writing back in 2012 in that spring before LeBron won his first championship, and it was like complete panic, like, oh my God, this guy has not won a championship yet. He's only been to 2 finals. And it was so funny to look back on that because, of course, he's been to 8 more since then and won 3 championships and looks in really good shape to win another. But who knows what'll happen in this series? I mean, people have thought other teams would beat the Heat on their way here. But he talked a lot today about that and like how he grew up in that culture, and he feels like it was a great fit for him because he's somebody who loves to work hard.
Let me ask you guys this curiously. What do you think needs to happen for Miami to either take this to 7 games or win it? Like, what's sort of the recipe?
Wow. I think some of it will be perhaps confusing the Lakers with all their defenses and them sort of stall, which the Lakers can do on their own anyway, and then playing just some great defense, great possessions. I mean, I hear guys say we have to play great defense for 48 minutes. Let's be real. That ain't going to happen because it ain't never happened. But there comes a time where you have to really dig down. And Miami, I think, can do that. And for them to have a chance to win, they have to find those real key moments late in the fourth quarter, late at the end of a quarter to really dig down, play tough defense, and rely on their culture, as they keep bringing up all the time, to kind of push them through.
The Lakers have a lot of advantages here. One guy who's going to be hugely important for the Heat is Bam Adebayo. So it'll be interesting to see how he does on a stage like this and against a team like the Lakers that has so much length and has been relying on guys who are really interested in Bam, like Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis, who have said really nice things about him in the past. It's going to be interesting to see how he can handle the challenges that they'll present.
Who you guys got?
I'm not doing
that. I
don't like to pick.
You know what? Honest, I'll pick. I picked the Lakers in 5, but 5 close games.
I have Lakers in 6, but I think the version of the Heat. I think the Heat recipe is pretty obvious. I think it's like what you guys talked about. It's force the Lakers to shoot jump shots, play good defense, and roll with what the numbers say, which is that the Lakers are like just kind of an okay jump shooting team. And if you can do that, you have a really good chance. I just think LeBron James and Anthony Davis are just too good.
Yes, I agree.
Like that. I mean, I'm gonna stick with not picking anything, but it does. This is a team that the Lakers are a team that has looked like they can overpower anyone. So that's just how they've looked throughout this series.
Okay,
well,
Tanya, don't pick anybody, Tanya. All right.
Congrats to you, Tanya, on assuring that you're the only one of us that won't be wrong.
That's true. That's how I live my life. Make sure I'm not necessarily right, but definitely not wrong.
Good enough for me.